One of the things that we've encouraged families who are using Old Western culture to do is, this is recorded. You're not live telling the story to them, but to not treat it like a textbook, but to treat it like they were receiving a story, and then to have what we've called recitations, that flipped classroom aspect where they're listening to your storytelling, and then the next tutor, parent, teacher carries on the torch, so to speak, of the story. They should read it aloud. We could talk about that. Huh?
That's right.
But
We've
also,
talked about them many times, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. Even have a meme with a certain shotgun
That's right.
that has made the rounds. But the storytelling part, it can be incorporated or not, and that's depending on how you teach it. You can watch it in such a way that you're treating it like a textbook, or you can, and you write your answers. And did you get it right? Well, is it right in the back of the book? We tell people what suggested answers, or you can have a conversation about it. You can talk through it, and it then becomes part of a continuation of your story. So that's something we've we encourage parents to treat it the way it's meant to be, which is it is a story that can still be living.
That's that really is one of the marvels of technology for all of us Luddites and recidivists who bewail a lot of modern technology. The idea of recording either in audio or in video and audio is an amazing thing. A lot of people like to listen to audiobooks, and I think listening to audiobooks is a tremendous thing. The human voice is so important to the conveying of not just information, but the stories that give people's lives meaning. And so when you listen to an audio version of a book, there may be things that are lost depending on the kind of book that you're listening to, that you would need a text for. But for the most part, listening to anything that qualifies as a story, as a narrative, is actually supremely well done in audiobooks. And when you have a video recording, with a recording of us talking and so on, people can see our faces, they can see our eyes, they can see the interaction we have, our body posture and so on. And so much more is conveyed there than the words on a page. Now, I feel bad talking this way because I love books. If I'm in danger of being an idolater in any area, it's the books on my library shelves. But it's quite true that something is missing with the text on a page. This, I've always been convinced, this is why Socrates in one of his famous dialogues, the Phaedrus, talks about why writing is a bad thing. And he talks about how writing was invented. And there are many interpretations of this discussion. But in the context of that dialogue, it seems to me that what Socrates is saying is that when any kind of passing on of wisdom, teaching, is being done, it has to be done in the context of a teacher and a student, alive, face-to-face, who know each other and trust each other. And he says, when you write something down, and now I'm starting to add to what he said, but I think this is what he means. When you write something down,
students fearlessly scribble.
Yeah, how do we know this? How do we know that Socrates said that? Because Plato's sitting in the class going, "Writing is a bad thing." This is good, Socrates. Let me get that down for a second. So I'm glad he wrote it down. But Socrates is saying, if you write things down, then now you can have it in a book that can be pulled off the shelf by anybody. And read by anybody who it might not be appropriate for. And he has in mind the idea that something like this. Suppose I'm ill and I go into the local pharmacy and I wait till the pharmacist turns his back, and then I sneak some pill bottles off the shelf because they look pretty, and I go home and I self-medicate. You don't do that. You go to the doctor, and in consultation with the doctor and with the pharmacist, I know what I need in this particular circumstance. So the passing on of wisdom, the passing on of knowledge, which is what stories is, requires two people, the teller and the listener, and they need to be, ideally, they should be people who know and love and trust each other. And that's why the human voice and the human face and that human presence is so important.